quick Monday update for you guys. So I took one last trade on my accounts before Friday close, and I'm going to show you that now and why I took it. You can see the basket here. So this was the basket that I took and that I showed in my last video, and where I took profit. So I took another entry right here, and it was because I was seeing some resistance up at this point here. I mean, you can see that the RMI was not over 70, so it wasn't based off of that. And if you look on the 15-minute time frame, let me get rid of the RMI here. You can see this candle here and this one. This is not an inside candle setup, but what interested me was the 1.67 level, and the 1.67 level was showing that there was some resistance up there, so I was expecting a bit of a pullback. Also, if you check on the 5-minute chart, you'll see that the candles are definitely showing some resistance up there. So I entered for a small, entered a standard amount of risk, looking for a small amount of profit. I only took about 16 pips. I was wanting about 15 or so, but was seeing that the market was just a little bit too slow, and decided to cut the trade before the closing of the weekend. Now there was a little bit more action before the closing of the weekend, but I didn't go for it. But you can see that I don't know if it was luck or if it was just luck. I'm just gonna say that. I closed out my trade here at 15 pips. Now my intention was to close it out very early, since this was a smaller trade. I was looking, like I said, for a smaller pullback. I was not expecting this to happen. I mean, that would be awesome if I said that this was going to happen. But if I saw this candle, after this candle, I would have maybe thought that there could have been more push up there. But I was not expecting that kind of movement. So I closed out here because I saw that there was some issues with the candles pushing down. Now this will sometimes happen where there is a pullback and you can see resistance up here, and it starts pushing down, but then we start getting these kind of candles that have larger wicks at the bottom, where we're definitely showing some support here, and so that's why I started looking at the candles and thinking that it would be wise for me to close out. And as you can see, it was. Like I said, I didn't know this push up was going to happen or when it was going to happen, but I did sense some pullback or some resistance down at this bottom area here, which was interesting because the pullback from the top up here to here was quite small before pushing back up again. But anyways, it was a good choice, and you can see here on my personal account I took the same trade, and actually it took a little bit more. I think I entered the trade slightly earlier, but took a slightly more profit, and actually I think it was slightly less. That was about the same, about 15 or so pips, and closed that one out slightly earlier, and for the same reasons. But it ended up being a good choice and a nice banking of 15 pips profit. So that was $124. You probably can't see it because my picture's in the way. Let me move my picture to the top. Or let's see here. Okay, so hopefully you can see my numbers now. So this $121. I like to put my picture at the bottom right because it shows that my accounts are live, are real, and a lot of people will start to question, is this real money or is this fake money, because there's so many videos online of traders showing demo accounts. Yes, this is a real account, and but I want you guys to see the numbers. So $120 from that small little scalp of 15 pips. So I didn't take anything. You can see clearly where the weekend happened, and there was the gap down. And as I was saying before, a lot of times gaps are recovered, or a good portion of them. So this one here was recovered, and quite a few pips in that gap, and the recovery was about 45 or so pips. So I waited it out. No trades. Things were pretty quiet, and the pound obviously pushed down quite a bit in the last 24 hours or so. So I was looking automatically for or my expert advisor was looking for trades on the way down to see if there was any inside candle setups, and there hasn't been yet. So I decided to see when this push down would slow, because an inside candle is not the only indication that the market can give us for a potential pullback. And so I was looking for other hints, and so I'll go into this now, and you guys will be able to see some manual trades I'm taking, because I'm starting to take a little bit more manual trades here and there when things are quiet with my expert advisor. Okay, so the entry, you can see there on chart, and this is the trade I took on my account and Robert's. All right, so what time frame did I actually see this entry on? Well, it wasn't the 5 or 15, because that's a lot of times what I use, but it was actually the 30-minute time frame. And you can see this here, and this nice little bullish. It's pretty close to an engulfing candle, but it also has a really nice wick on it, and so it's kind of a combination of an engulfing and a hammer candle to me. And so I saw that one candle here and thinking this is a good place for a pullback, and there is support showing there because of this candle for one, and it's also near a round number or a whole number, 166. It's right on it, so it's pretty. That was a pretty no-brainer manual trade setup for me, and so I entered right when the candle opened, and spread was not too low there. It was, I think I got in a little bit, 4 pips, just over 4 pips below the actual candle open. So let's go to the 5-minute time frame to see how this trade kind of played out. So you can see that my original entry, it went down a little bit more and then shot back up. I got close to actually closing out profit there, but it wasn't quite enough. And then it kind of just lingered. It ranged in this area for quite some time, but that's to be expected in an area of price right around the whole number. And if you guys remember in my previous videos, when a whole number is hit and we have like a candle or multiple candles showing that there is some resistance there, then you may get some of this ranging action going on in that area, or it could shoot up right in our intended direction. But if candles are showing some kind of pullback or resistance or support in that area, then yeah, it's likely we can get a little bit of ranging action before it shoots up or shoots down. Now, I've said that before, and I do feel like it's in most cases true. And in this one, it was a slower reaction, and it did bounce around a bit, but it did go into my favor, and I ended up taking, it looks like about 20 pips profit. So I well, 25 pips profit on this particular trade. There was some fees involved, so it was around $240 or $45 that I took on this trade, but it's displaying as $210 because of the fees. All right, so you see my profit since transferring my funds into this account, which was on 9/28. So you guys know that I had an older account for those that are just tuning in this time. I had a previous account at Trader's Way that I was running for about a month. Made around $4,500 at, it was actually $4,700 on that account, and have recently transferred my funds into another account at Trader's Way so I can track it. Now the tracking is done through my FX book. You can see the account here now, so you guys can track it too, and you just go to my name at Little Red Rye, Lilredry at my FX book, and just search the user. And you should be able to find all of my systems here and my tracking as well on my personal account. So you can see that's 20,549, and then the profit as well. So I couldn't do this on my previous account. My FX book didn't allow me to. For some reason, some information was missing on that account, and so that's why I had to change. So today's profit is 1% with the $202 profit. All right, so that's the start of the week. I don't have any other trades in yet, no expert advisor trades, and this is what Robert's account's looking like. And so the recovery is looking pretty good. I need to get to where I was back on the 1st of September, which was right there. And that was at 18.32% profit. So I've still got about 5% or so more to go before I am there. And I should be able to do that in this month, or about 6 weeks or so. So not too bad to get his account back up to normal. That is if trading is smooth during that time. Okay. So you guys can see that I took a manual trade today and took one before the closing of Friday as well. And manual trading kind of gives you a better, or me showing you what I'm doing manually, gives you a better idea of my thought process, because the expert advisor follows I guess a group of rules that potentially can change, based on where price is, but it still follows that criteria. For me, there's a lot more discretion involved, and I'm not just taking inside candle setups with my trades. There are multiple factors involved with when and why I'm taking the positions that I am. And so I hope that thought process comes across when trying to explain to you guys what I'm doing and why I'm taking the positions I am. I do think that this trade here will extend further. I'm not sure how much it will extend further, but it could turn around and go down anytime, but I am expecting a bigger pullback at that point. We can also check on the higher time frames to see what's going on. You can see that the wicks down here on so many candles in a row shows that there is still a continued I guess jump that could happen here. We do have a recent swing level, which was a swing low, and it was a support, but it also could act as a resistance in current price. So the resistance could be support. Previous support could turn into current resistance, and this could shoot back down. So it's just going to have to wait and see what happens here. If this ends up being an inside candle, the current candle on the 1 hour, then there's a pretty good chance that this could turn back down, and the pullback was smaller than expected. I do think that it will break this previous support level, but that's just a random call, and that doesn't really do anybody good. So don't try to trade this right here and thinking that it's going to extend, because I really don't know. The idea was to jump in as early as possible to get a small, 25 pips, and get the smallest of possible pullbacks here before it potentially goes back down or extends further. Anyways, so that is so far trading this week. I have done about $200 today, which is not bad. I at a standard job, that's about a standard day, so I would be pretty happy with that. I wouldn't be. I am happy with that. Let me clarify. Any profit is great, whether it's small or large. All right. So I guess that's it for today. I think that's all I really wanted to cover. I didn't want to make this long because there's not a ton of talk to talk about. Oh, no, I did want to add something onto this. And I'm sorry, because it was requested from a couple of users to talk about Maverick. So I will do that for the next 5 minutes or so to tell you guys what happened with Maverick and why I stopped using them. Because there was a lot of potential there. And let me see if I can pull Maverick up to give a little bit of a visual. So if you go to their website, you can click on Trade Their Money, and I've pulled up this diagram before that's showing like the different levels that you can go through. So Maverick, for those that are new, is a proprietary trading firm. So they basically give you money to trade if you can show that you have a good track record, if you are a capable trader, have experience, and so on and so forth. And there are a lot of I guess hidden things that they don't really talk about. Well, one is that that they are true to their word, and they said that they do keep. You get to keep 70% of the payout at levels 1 and 2. Levels 3 and 4, you get to keep 75. Levels 5 and 6, 80%. So that's actually really good for a proprietary firm, because they don't typically allow you to keep that much in profit. And they didn't try to jip me or anything like that. They with the how many months was I with them? It was about 3 months that I was with Maverick this year, and at the time when I left, I was trading about 40,000. It was 39 or 40,000. 8 of that was mine, and the rest of it was theirs. Now they've told me before that they want me to keep 20% of the entire account. They want 20% of the entire account to be my personal funds. So you have to have some kind of collateral on the table. So if you take a loss, that loss is taken by you only. So if you have a 10% loss, that's not 10% on 40,000. That's 10% of your portion of the 40,000. So let's say that if it's a $40,000 account, that means that you will have 8,000 of that 40,000 will be your portion, right? And that's 20%. And if you have a 10% loss, that means that you're going to lose 4,000 of your initial $8,000. Maverick isn't going to take the loss on that until your portion's out. Or if you have say like a 25% loss, then you take a 20% hit, and they take a 5% hit. And that's but they will do everything they can to avoid taking losses for the company. You know, that's how a company works. They have to make sure that they are growing in every single way. Unfortunately, sometimes at the expense of their users. So that seems like a really big negative, always having to have 20%. I was hoping when I got involved that there was some flexibility with this issue, that I could really try to talk them into maybe having less in the account than 20%, because I was an experienced trader, and they knew I was an experienced trader. They even upgraded me a month early on one of them, since usually you have to have 2 profitable months in a row before they upgrade you to the next stages. And they upgraded me slightly early because they knew that I was capable. And I got to the $40,000 mark, and I had 8,000 in the account. And I was kind of stuck, because at 40,000, that means that if I want to go to, and that was at level 3. I was at level 3. And if I wanted to go to level 4, so 2 months later, let's say 2 months from now, I continue to have profit, and 2 profitable months in a row. Then that means that at level 4, 80,000, that means I'm going to have $16,000 in the account. That means I won't be able to withdraw any funds from my trading profits. That is, if I make any. And typically on this account, I was making about 5% profit per month. So that would be about 2,000. So my 8,000 would be 2,000. You can see that it's not even going to take. It's going to take me way longer than 2 months to actually make an additional 16,000, an additional 5 to 7,000 in order to get to level 4. So you can see why I left, is because it was kind of a money pit. I know that it wasn't like I was losing my profits or anything like that. But I started up with Maverick so I could trade their funds and a good portion of their funds and not have to keep a bunch of my money in. And I wanted to withdraw monthly withdrawals from Maverick so I could have an income, basically, as a trader. And I thought that this would be a good option to have. And it was working okay, but they were taking a good portion of the profits. So they would take 30% of the profits off the top at the level that I was, and they were also requiring me to keep 20% of my account, and so it made me stuck on trying to make any withdrawals because I wanted to keep as much money in my account as possible so I can upgrade to larger amounts down the road. I like Maverick. I liked working with them. I thought they were honest people. They are based out of Utah. I have seen their offices, and Utah is my hometown, and I know the location. So they are a legitimate business, but there are some things that really make it difficult for experienced traders trying to make an income from home or online trading. They make it difficult and to progress through the higher stages because you need such a high collateral base. All right, so that's my rundown with Maverick. Will I go back to them? It's hard to say. I may go back with them to them once I have a larger fund base. For example, if I have $30,000 and I need 20% as collateral, I could always move back to the $150,000 stage and be fine and trade $150,000 instead of 30. But I don't find it necessary yet. I'm trading at Trader's Way. As you guys know, it's not a regulated broker, and so I'm always uneasy about using them. And I want to get my account to a $50,000 mark before moving it back to Oanda. Actually, it's going to be more like 60,000. I want about 60,000 in the account before I move back to Oanda. And at that point, at 60K, I'll probably withdraw about 10,000 of the profits, move back to Oanda with 50,000, and trade, making an income on that every single month. Moving to Oanda, my profits would jump down a lot to about 3 to 5% per month, but that would be enough for me to be sustainable through my trading, and I'd also have a $50,000 base to always constantly compound and withdraw the 50K just in case I needed to if there's a family emergency or something like that. A lot more flexibility once going back to Oanda, and so it's more likely that I would move back to Oanda than I would be to move back to Maverick, even though I have had a decent experience with them. But the 20% collateral on the table in your account at all times is difficult to work with. All right, sorry, I'm not sure if people are interested in the Maverick stuff or how many of you are, but hopefully I didn't spend too much time on it. Looks like about 10 minutes. And I'll see you guys for later updates this week. And I'm not expecting a ton of trades on my expert advisor unless this continues down. It's going to need to pull back quite a bit in order for me to take any short positions. But right now, if it continues down and pushes lower, then yeah, there's a chance I could get some long positions. But so far, it's been quiet this week. But I guess I've still managed to make a bit of profit. Thanks, guys. See you next time.